Steve Irwin, more famously known worldwide as the Crocodile Hunter, spent his entire life documenting and researching the wilderness. Born into a family of conservationists, he was introduced to animals at an early age through his parents, who were the owners of the Queensland Reptile and Fauna Park, which would later be known as Australia Zoo. From here, a legend was born, the legend of the Crocodile Hunter. As a young boy, Steve became heavily invested in the many tasks involved with running the park. While many his age were attending school, he would be helping at the park and learning about the importance of conservation, and at the age of just 9, under his father's supervision, he wrestled his first crocodile. Steve's crocodile obsession started with his father, and the apple didn't fall far from the tree. His love for wildlife grew even stronger when he met Terry Raines. They quickly fell in love, got married, and had 2 children. They shared a deep passion for wildlife and made a documentary about their adventures catching and rescuing crocodiles. This would be the first episode of the Crocodile Hunter series, but it wasn't like any other wildlife show. It was something else entirely. Steve's enthusiastic catchphrase, "Crikey," became a part of popular culture. Audiences around the world were captivated by his fearless interactions with some of the world's most dangerous animals. Episodes often included Steve narrowly avoiding snake bites and his heart-stopping close encounters with massive crocodiles. These moments kept viewers on the edge of their seats, which made Steve Irwin an international star. The show ran for an impressive 11 years, and Steve also went on to create other shows like Croc Files and The Crocodile Hunter Diaries. In 2006, Steve Irwin was in the midst of filming a documentary called Ocean's Deadliest with the Discovery Channel, which aimed to showcase the deadliest and most dangerous sea creatures, such as sharks, sea snakes, blue-ringed octopus, and box jellyfish. On this particular day, they were specifically looking for tiger sharks, but as the weather conditions turned poor, they were forced to delay filming and stay on the boat. However, being cooped up inside a boat was not something Steve was good at, and before long he grew too restless and wanted to make productive use of this downtime. Steve was also working on another project called Bindi the Jungle Girl, which his daughter Bindi was going to host. He saw this pause in filming as the perfect opportunity to get some good shots for his daughter's documentary. Steve and a few crew members decided to take an inflatable speedboat out from the main ship, hoping to find something to film. It didn't take them long before they encountered a massive stingray. They had all swum with stingrays before, as they were typically non-aggressive and usually swim away if threatened. So there was no reason to be scared of the stingray. It seemed perfect for capturing some good underwater footage. The crew entered the water, which was only chest high. After some quick planning about what would be recorded, they submerged themselves and began filming. After his camera crew took several shots, Steve wanted the final shot to be the stingray swimming away from him, which he thought would be the perfect addition to the documentary. The stingray Steve encountered was no ordinary stingray. It was a short-tailed stingray with a wingspan of about 2 meters, a flat disc body and a short, whip-like tail, covered in venomous barbs, which can fatally injure anything it deems a threat. Despite their venomous tails, short-tailed stingrays are not considered dangerous animals. However, as Steve approached the stingray from behind, the stingray saw Steve's shadow and possibly mistook it for a tiger shark, which is a natural predator of the stingray. Without hesitation, the stingray became extremely aggressive and unleashed a flurry of attacks on Steve. The cameraman recalls the incident happening so quickly, with the ray stabbing Steve hundreds of times in an instant before swimming away. The cameraman didn't even realize how bad it was until he saw blood gushing from Steve's wounds. His first thought was that they needed to get out of the water because now they would be attracting sharks, but sharks would be the least of their worries. Steve lunged out of the water screaming that it had punctured his lung, but it was actually his heart that the stingray had punctured. A barb sticking out of its tail sliced through his chest like a knife through butter. The whole incident was filmed down to the very last second, as Steve always wished for the camera to keep rolling no matter what. Steve had always told people, "I would be sorry if nobody got my death on tape." The crew quickly brought Steve back to the inflatable boat and raced back to the main vessel. This is when the severity of the situation became horrifyingly clear. The journey back was frantic as members of the crew used their hands to try to stop the blood gushing from Steve's wounds. They reassured him, telling him to think of his children and to hang on. During this boat ride back, Steve spoke the heart-wrenching words, "I'm dying," as he balanced on the verge of death. Once aboard the main boat, Steve's life started fading away. The cameraman tried to resuscitate him for over an hour and continued to apply pressure to his wounds, but at this point they were truly looking for a miracle. He was quickly taken to Low Isle Hospital, but it was too late. He was declared deceased upon arrival, and even if he had reached the hospital immediately, the damage to his heart was so severe that it likely would have made no difference. John Stainton, a good friend of Steve, recounted that a couple of days before filming, Steve had made a peculiar speech to his crew, thanking everyone and saying how much he appreciated them, almost like a farewell. Perhaps he had a feeling that something was going to go horribly wrong. The recording of this fatal accident was handed over to the authorities to aid their investigation, and once completed it was handed back to the production crew, who then continued with the documentary, Ocean's Deadliest. But all the footage from that tragic day was removed. John Stainton claims that he saw it once and never wants to see it again. Despite the possible existence of the footage, Steve Irwin's team and the Discovery production team agreed to never release the tape. As soon as the public was informed of Steve Irwin's death, everyone went into shock. A true legend of the world had died, a man so universally loved that no one ever spoke ill of him, and just by being himself, he made the world a better place. On Steve Irwin's public Memorial Day, thousands gathered to honour and remember him. His daughter, Bindi, just 8 years old, displayed her love for her father and gave a heartwarming speech, showing the world how much he was loved and admired.
My daddy was my hero. He was always there for me when I needed him. He listened to me and taught me so many things, but most of all, he was fun.
Even after his untimely death, Steve Irwin's legacy continues to thrive. His wife Terry and children, Bindi and Robert, have carried on his work with unwavering dedication. Bindi, following in her father's footsteps, has become a prominent wildlife conservationist and television personality. She often speaks about her father's enduring influence and the responsibility she feels to continue his mission. Robert too has shown a natural affinity for wildlife, frequently appearing on television to educate the public about animal conservation. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, hit that subscribe button. But until the next true disaster, it's goodbye from me.